Welcome to Full Throttle F1. The year is 2025, and as of January 1st, all Formula One teams have started designing their new cars for the 2026 regulations. Even though all teams and engineers read the same rules, each interprets them differently, finds unique details, or discovers loopholes. Some of them even dare to try bold experiments. Especially before 2009, when the rules were more loosely written, we saw these different attempts more frequently. The year 2003 was a mixed bag for BMW Williams. The team had made significant progress compared to the previous year and had become much faster. However, due to driver errors and lost points, they couldn't prevent Schumacher and Ferrari from winning the championship. By the winter of 2004, everyone was saying, "This year is the year." Back then, this phrase wasn't just about Ferrari winning the championship, but about Schumacher and Ferrari finally being dethroned. There was hope that BMW Williams partnership would produce a fast car and that the drivers would learn from their mistakes. Moreover, rumors suggested that Ferrari was struggling with development. What fueled the excitement even more was the unveiling of BMW Williams' 2004 car, the FW26, nicknamed the Walrus. Its unprecedented design immediately caught everyone's attention. The car featured a short nose, a double front wing, and a gap between the wings. The engineers hoped that this design would allow clean airflow to the rear of the car, which is why the C-pillars were kept narrow. The mastermind behind this design was Antonio Terzi, who had previously worked at Ferrari with Rory Byrne before joining Williams in 2002. Terzi had contributed to the car's development in 2003, and everyone was hopeful about this bold design. In pre-season testing, the car was among the fastest for 2 consecutive days, and BMW Williams was considered the top contender for the 2004 championship. However, when the season started, the FW26's problems began to surface. The car was difficult to set up, fragile, and the nose design raised the car's center of gravity. By mid-season, the team had only managed 1 podium finish. Williams eventually abandoned the Walrus nose design before the end of the season and reverted to a more traditional nose. Not all bold designs failed, though. In the 1997 season, the Tyrrell team, struggling with financial difficulties, switched to a customer Ford V8 engine. Competing against V10-powered teams was already a challenge, but Harvey Post-Lethwaite, one of Formula One's best engineers, had some unique ideas. His ingenious strategy brought Tyrrell an unlikely points opportunity. The Tyrrell 0-5 wasn't much different from other cars on normal tracks, but on high downforce circuits, it deployed what became known as X-wings or Tyrrell towers. These wings provided extra downforce, improving grip. With this unconventional idea, Tyrrell arrived at the Monaco Grand Prix with an equally unconventional strategy. They raced without pit stops. As a result, Mika Salo finished 5th, earning the team their first and only points of the season. Although Tyrrell seemed unsuccessful due to their V8 engine and financial constraints, and the X-wings might have seemed like a bad idea, other teams saw their potential by 1998. Sauber, Jordan, Prost, and even Ferrari began experimenting with similar designs. Ferrari's version of the X-wings looked particularly cool. However, due to safety concerns specifically, the risk of the wings injuring drivers or spectators in a crash, the FIA banned X-wings. These wings weren't the first innovation Tyrrell brought to Formula One. The team also introduced the 6-wheeled P34, conceived by Derek Gardner. The idea stemmed from the FIA's regulation limiting front wing width to 1.5 meters. To prevent the front wheels from protruding beyond the wing, Gardner reduced the wheel size. However, smaller wheels couldn't provide enough grip in corners, so Gardner added to more front wheels. The six-wheeled car made its debut in the 1976 season and achieved impressive results, including a double podium in Monaco and a 1-2 finish in Sweden. Despite its strong start, the P34 never reached its full potential and was eventually retired after the 1977 season. Other teams, including Ferrari, experimented with six-wheeled concepts, but none ever raced. In 1979, Lotus introduced the Lotus 80, which featured ground effect aerodynamics. However, the car's design was flawed, and it struggled with cooling issues. The Lotus 80's best result was a 13th place finish, which was also the only race it managed to complete. As the saying goes, if a car is ugly, it's probably slow. The 1970s were a time when aerodynamics and wind tunnels were just beginning to play a significant role in Formula One. Designers were learning through trial and error, and some established beliefs, like the higher the airbox, the higher the pressure, led to some peculiar designs. One such car was the Ligier JS5, nicknamed the Teapot due to its resemblance to a teapot. Fortunately, we didn't have to endure this monstrosity for long, as regulation changes after the 1976 Spanish Grand Prix forced the airbox to be lowered. The updated design, though still ugly, managed 3 podium finishes that season. Even in the 2000s, before the 2009 regulations tightened, teams added various winglets to their cars to gain speed. After a disappointing 2007 season, Honda hoped for a turnaround in 2008. Their car showed promise, but apart from a 6th place finish in Spain, the team struggled to score points. Their solution: add another wing. The elephant ears winglets, introduced at Monaco, aimed to provide extra downforce. While the car managed for points finishes, including a 3rd place at the chaotic British Grand Prix, it was largely unsuccessful. Jenson Button was particularly unhappy with the car, and after the winglets were added, the team failed to score any more points that season. Monaco has always been a hotspot for crazy experiments, as teams have long sought ways to generate extra downforce on the tight street circuit. In 2001, 2 teams exploited the same rule loophole in different ways. Arrows fitted a high, 1960s style wing to their A22, while Jordan added a small wingle just in front of the cockpit on their EJ11. Both cars ran with these additions during practice, but the FIA quickly banned them, forcing the teams to remove the winglets before qualifying. In 1979, March Engineering entered Formula One with the March 811, designed by Luigi Colani. Colani created the car in just 100 hours, featuring a single front wing, a single rear wing, and a single mirror above the driver to maintain symmetry. Despite its striking appearance, the car suffered from cooling issues, and its design was gradually altered throughout the season. By the end of the year, the March 811 was almost unrecognizable, but it managed some decent results, even beating the factory March team on occasion. Finally, let's talk about the 1982 season, when Ferrari made a bold statement with a double rear wing during the Fisifoca War. Tensions were high between the garage teams and the major manufacturers. After a protest over water tanks in the Williams and Brabham cars was dismissed, Ferrari arrived at the Long Beach Grand Prix with a double rear wing. The regulations at the time didn't specify how many wings a car could have, so Ferrari used this loophole to send a message: if you ignore the spirit of the rules and follow them to the letter, this is what happens. Ferrari finished third but was disqualified after protests from other teams. The FISA court later disqualified the garage team's cars from the Brazilian Grand Prix, reigniting tensions. That's all for now. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and I'll see you next week. Take care.